Today, I think we're just going to talk specifically about this key part that sort of drives the track. So that key part is played on Keyscape. I'm just using their LA custom warm road sample. So I guess I just want to say a couple things about the chord progression. One is it's super simple and it's really just kind of walking down in whole steps. I think what's kind of cool is that when we go from this B flat here to this A flat down a whole step, that the top note of that chord goes up. So you sort of get this sense of contrary motion a little bit. One part kind of goes down, the other part goes up. And I think that's a small, subtle thing in a very simple chord progression that helps just make it a little bit more interesting. I think something that's really helpful to keep in mind is when you find a chord that you like, that feels like it can be a starting place. For me, sometimes I get caught up trying to think about the entire next chord or series of chords. And I think what can be helpful is, how can I just pick the next note that sounds good in either the top or the bottom? So what's the next bass note that maybe sounds good, or what's the next top note that sounds good, and then try to work within that to find a chord that may work, or even a part of a chord. You don't need to play so many notes either, you know? There's also an economy of hand movement, I think, that comes into play. So if we've decided, okay, now that next chord is just gonna be a whole step down, and my hands are already in this place from the previous chord, what can I do to move my hands the least? And that's sort of what I mean by like kind of the economy of your movements there. So I'm really almost playing the same chord. I've just moved the bass note and changed the top note. So, but in my opinion, it is sort of those sort of subtle overlapping changes that are really fun to play, really interesting to the ear, and also kind of set you up to make the next movement. If you're interested, here are the chords. There's this B flat minor 7, this A flat sus, this B flat up top, and an F sharp, G flat, depending on what you want to call it, major 7, and this B major 7 that's inverted here.